All right, guys, here's our practice activity. We're going to begin by going ahead and creating a document. So create a document. It's our first time designing. Create a document, and I'm just going to call it practice, and I'll say Kevin. So practice Kevin. You'll be practice your name. Practice Bob. Practice whatever. And I used my document location. I put it in the sixth grade folder, so you don't have to worry about that. But just put practice Kevin, practice your name, and then create. A couple things to go over here. This opens up first, and this is our three planes that are here. They have length and width, and there's three of them, the front, the right, and the top. And then there's the origin. That's the dot in the middle where they intersect. I would like you guys to hide this so it's not confusing. I just want you to see that they're there. When I right-click on my mouse, I can move these around. Very cool. And then I can go over to the left-hand side where it says default geometry, and I'm going to click on the origin to hide the origin, the eyeball there. Click on the top plane, hide the top plane. Click on the right plane, and we're going to hide that as well. So we only have the front plane there. All right. It's not anything in particular. It's just kind of keeping it simple. This works for me, having the front plane there. And then I hit front in that cube in the upper right-hand corner. I can left-click on front, and then it will lay it like a flat sheet of paper, like we just practiced on a flat sheet of paper. We can go ahead and have this all laid out. So we have three steps we go through. One, we sketch, and I ask you to sketch a circle and a square on paper. We're going to do the same thing on here now. So I go to sketch. It says select a sketch plane. So when this sketch plane is just blue, it's empty, I need to select something or it won't know where to draw. And the computer's asking you, where should I draw? Or where do you want to draw? So I select the front plane, and you see it says front plane in here now under sketch plane. And now these tools appear up here where I can draw, and there's a lot of things I can do. But I'm going to start by drawing a circle. So I click, and there's different types of circle. There's a center point circle, 3-point, and ellipse. I'm going to go with just the center point circles. Good. And then I click and drag, and it makes a circle. Now this right here says that's the diameter symbol. The diameter is 26.78 millimeters. Now I want to make it 1 inch, and it will convert to millimeters for us. To do that, we have to dimension it. So step 2 is our dimension tool. So I go over here to the dimension tool. My mouse cursor's on it right now. And I selected it. It turned gray. And now you can go ahead and take your mouse and click one time on the edge of the circle. One click and drag over to the edge. And it gave me my diameter is 26.78. Now, if I want it to be 1 inch, I can type 1 IN. And that will make it 1 inch or 25.4 millimeters. As you can see now, the diameter says 25.4 millimeters. Very cool. So I'm going to turn my dimension tool off now, and I have those there. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to roll this forward, and you guys see I have no depth on this circle. I only have a circle with a diameter of 25.4. So to give it depth now, one way to do this is I'm going to go to extrude in the upper left-hand corner. This is the tool I want you to learn next. I'm not trying to overwhelm you. I want to keep it simple. So we sketch. We drew a circle because we had to pick the sketch plane, and then we drew the circle. And then I went ahead and I dimensioned this at 25.4 millimeters. Now I'm going to go ahead and extrude. I click on extrude, and it gives me the option to do a new, and add, a remove, or an intersect. So we can't remove the circle. There's nothing there but this circle. And add to what? There's nothing there. So we have to do new initially here. And then what is the depth I asked you to go for the circle? I believe I said 1 inch. So we can, again, type 1 IN or 25.4 millimeters. So I'm going to type 1 IN, and I'll hit the check mark. And then you'll see I have this little cylinder there, okay? And that is our 3-step sketch, dimension, extrude process that we'll keep repeating. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a square. And let's make the square, let's get silly. We'll make the square on the edge next to the circle here. So I'll go sketch, and I'm going to sketch plane is the front plane here, same thing. and it says front plane. Cool. Now that's where I want to make my square. Now to make the square, I have to turn my tool on. So I'm going to go up to my rectangle tool, select it. It's active now, it's gray. And then I can go ahead and I can drag and drop and make a box. Now that's a rectangle because the sides are not equal currently, but we will adjust that. How do we do that? Dimension. So step one, sketch, pick our sketch plane, draw your geometry. I drew a circle and now I've drawn a square. Now we go to our dimension tool. I turn my dimension tool on, one click on the top, drag up, and I'm going to type 1IN. On the side, one click on the side, and I'm going to type 25.4 mm in millimeters, which is 1 inch. Same thing. So I have my dimension now, and I've made this a square. I'm going to turn my tool off. And then step 3, we go to extrude, click on extrude, and I'm going to go ahead and make a new extrusion because there isn't one there. And I'm going to make it 25.4 for 1 inch. And I hit the check mark. And now I have 2 pieces of geometry here. I got the cube, and I also have that little cylinder right there. Very cool. Now we can get more complex with this and continue to follow the same steps we just made, but I'm just going to keep it simple there. Once you guys feel comfortable with this, we'll stop there and we'll go ahead and begin our maze. The next thing I want to see, though, is I want to see your work, and I can't see this work, this beautiful practice work that you made. So we're going to go to the bottom left-hand corner where there's a plus sign, and we're going to hit the plus sign, and we're going to create a drawing. Now, to create a drawing, you'll be able to show me what you made and attach it to Google Classroom. You get a little classwork grade for this. So we're going to show our onshape templates, and I'd like you to select the ANSI B millimeters. ANSI B millimeters. The ANSI A millimeter will be portrait, which is the up and down piece of paper. And the ANSI B millimeter will be the wide way. I'm not drawing it well. Like your computer screen is the wide way. It's not up and down, it's side to side. So ANSI B millimeter will give a better view to fit our computer screens. Hope that makes sense. A lot of hand movements there. Now I see that I have 2 parts over here and I have my paper. So I'm going to go ahead and insert. So there's the button right there. And it says what to insert. I'll start with part 1. And when I insert part 1, it says that I'm going to get the view orientation of the front view. Okay, cool. I can do that. And I click one time right here about C3. And then I'm going to go back to insert view again. And I have my part 1 selected. And I'm going to get the top view. It's a little bit too big. I'm going to change the scale from 3:1 to 2:1. Let's see. Here it is. 2:1, a little smaller. I'll put it at C3, D3, I'm sorry. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually do the front view to 2:1 also. It's just too big. There we go. I'm going to turn my tool off, and then I can select this other one that I made and hit delete. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my left view, insert. And so I did the top. Now I'm doing the left. It's at 3:1 again. I got to change it to 2:1. So if that happens, we just want to use a scale that is easily seen. Okay, easy to see. It's not too big or overwhelming here. So it looks pretty good. And then lastly, I want you to go ahead and you're going to insert the isometric view. The isometric view, and I want to go to 2:1. It'll show 3 dimensions. It'll show that it has depth. So this initial one is called orthographic. And now I'm going to go ahead and insert this with the isometric as well. All right, and now I'm going to insert the other part. So we're going to go to insert, and we'll choose our cube. And I'm going to go ahead and change it to 2:1 as well. Good. In the front view, I'll put it at C1 here, so it's just off to the side. And I'll go back up here to insert view again and change it from front to top. Whoop, 2 to 1. I probably can go into settings and change that to 2 to 1 as the default, but I did not do that yet. Okay, so I have it 2 to 1 again. So I changed the view scale, and I'm going to go to left view now. And they all look the same because it's a 1 inch by 1 inch cube, right? And I'm going to go ahead and change the front view to the isometric, and that'll give me a nice dimension. Oops, I have the wrong part. Part 2. I'll change it to 2 to 1. There you go. Now, when I have everything deselected, I'll be able to pull this down so it can fit better. There we go. Okay, very good. Now this shows my 2 parts. You'll be able to submit this to me. Not quite done yet, though. I want you to learn to also put a note on this. So I'm going to go ahead and choose note, and then I can go underneath here and say, oops, right here, this arrow. I'm just going to drag it to the right to make it longer. Okay, so I'm going to make it, I'll call this cube. And that's good. And then I'll call this over here cylinder. And that's good. And now I can go ahead and label the views. Front view. That's just what we brought it in as. This was the top view. This over here is the left view. And this up here is called the isometric view. Cool. Now over here, I have the cylinder. I have my front view. Same thing. Top view. Left view. Isometric view. Okay, once I have this labeled very nicely, your name is already on here. That's good. The last thing I want you to confirm is your dimension. So you dimensioned it the way I asked you to go. So I'm going to turn my dimension tool on. There it is. You can see I have it selected. And we're going to just give the dimensions to confirm at that 25.4. Let's see. Selected that tool. I'm going to, there you go. There we go, 25.4. Yeah. Diameter 25.4. Or 1 inch, or we're working in millimeters, so for the computer to show us 25.4, that is proper. And that looks good. Just a couple dimensions. It confirms the 1 inch and the diameter of 1 inch. And these cube is 1 inch by 1 inch, 1 inch. You do not have to dimension the isometric views. Just leave those blank. Just label them. All right. And that's it. Now all you would do is right click on drawing 1 and we would export this. And you would put your name on this. So I would say practice Kevin. Export it. And then you can attach it into Google Classroom. And then that would give you credit for this activity. Thank you so much for your attention.